In the heart of the bustling metropolis stands a foreboding skyscraper. Concealing dark secrets within its walls, it's not just any corporate headquarters, but the very center of hell itself, ruled by the devil in the guise of a middle-aged businessman. While his outward appearance might suggest a life of boardrooms and investments, his true passion lies in orchestrating global catastrophes and polluting oceans on an unimaginable scale. Yet, even a villain as sinister as the devil has a soft spot for his beloved daughter, Lilith, a 14-year-old demon who finds joy in tormenting people online, and even more frequently, in driving her father mad. Her unruly antics and relentless energy are so overwhelming that her tutor, tasked with shaping this devilish teenager, can't bear it and eventually flees as far away as possible. In hell's dreary headquarters, Lilith has grown tired of her dull routine, craving more than just a life under her father's constant watch. She's spent her entire childhood confined within these dark walls, but now she dreams of venturing into the human world to terrify mortals up close. When she asks her father for permission, he dismisses her, insisting she's too young and too inexperienced to handle the chaotic emotions of humans. But Lilith, undeterred, refuses to back down. In a bold move, she barges into his room in the dead of night, waking him with a wild suggestion: why not give her a test to prove she's ready? To prove she's truly ready for the wicked deeds required to live in the human world, Lilith finally convinces her father, the devil, to make a compromise. Reluctantly, he sets a crafty condition. She must spend a week with a schoolgirl named Greta Bernstein and tempt her into committing some small but genuine misdeed. If Lilith succeeds, she'd be allowed to stay among humans as an official agent of evil. But if she fails, her fate will be far less glamorous. She'd be relegated to a miserable job in the deepest pits of hell, right next to her exasperated tutor. Confident this is an easy challenge, Lilith eagerly accepts, only to have her father pull her aside with one final piece of advice before she meets Greta's family. Before sending her off, the devil hands Lilith a mysterious black orb, a magical ball that changes color to reflect Greta's emotions. If it ever lightens, showing Greta is becoming kinder, Lilith will know she's failing the test. Eager to begin, Lilith pictures a glamorous new life in a luxurious penthouse, but her excitement fades fast when her father's car stops outside a humble farmhouse on the suburban outskirts. Here, the devil explains, she live undercover as an exchange student. As he leaves, Lilith is greeted by an overjoyed Greta, who rushes toward her with open arms. Quick on her feet, Lilith dodges the embrace, but Greta's mother, Sybil, warmly catches her in a hug, pulling her into this strange new world with a welcome she hadn't anticipated. During lunch, Lilith the Red Demon herself unexpectedly sneezes as she's introduced to Greta's quirky family. She meets Greta's two younger sisters and their father, Gabriel, a jolly man who sings songs to his vegetables, believing it helps them grow. Soon, Lilith realizes her father has saddled her with a nearly impossible challenge. Greta's family radiates warmth and kindness, living off the land, eating healthily, and constantly doing good deeds. Their souls seem impervious to corruption, yet Lilith is far from discouraged. Determined to test their limits, she slyly asks Greta to pass her some plates, only to accidentally let them slip through her fingers, crashing to the floor in a calculated attempt to stir up trouble. When the plates shatter on the floor, Lilith quickly blames Greta, hoping to spark some family tension. But to her surprise, Greta calmly takes responsibility, and even more shocking, her parents show no anger, despite the fact that their cherished dishes are ruined. Left alone with Greta, Lilith tries to dig up at least one hidden misdeed, some tiny flaw in this maddeningly perfect girl. But again, Greta disappoints her. She spends her free time helping her mom knit and singing in the choir. Just as Lilith begins to lose hope, Greta leaves the room for a moment, and Lilith seizes the chance to snoop. Rummaging through her closet, she finally finds a clue, a stack of photographs hidden away, hinting at secrets Greta might be hiding after all. Among the photos, Lilith discovers a picture of a boy, carefully decorated with heart's evidence of Greta's secret crush. The next morning, On the school bus, Greta cheerfully greets to local beauties, Melody and Daria, who respond with little more than scornful glances. Moments later, Eddie, the school bully, boards with his crew, immediately picking on classmates and, with a cruel smirk, sticking gum into Greta's hair. When he turns his attention to Lilith, he has no idea he's messing with a real demon. Coolly pulling out matches and a lighter, she puts on a fiery show, sending sparks through Eddie's hair and teaching him a lesson he won't soon forget. Terrified, Eddie bolts to the other end of the bus, frantically hiding his smoldering hair under a hat. Meanwhile, on the school's rooftop, Lilith spots a bold-looking guy named Samuel, lounging and smoking without a care, openly defying the principal's rules. This rebellious streak immediately catches her eye. In class, Lilith nonchalantly copies answers from the internet, which horrifies the ever-righteous Greta. To save Lilith from getting caught, Greta takes a drastic step. She grabs Lilith's test and eats it just before the teacher can see it. Later, as Lilith wanders the halls, she overhears a conversation between the principal and a teacher, revealing an intriguing secret. Lilith learns that the principal has been embezzling school funds for personal vacations, and to make matters worse, he's Eddie's father, often covering up his son's relentless bullying. Later, she spots Carlo, the boy whose photo she found hidden in Greta's closet. When Greta sees him, her cheeks turn red, and she quickly looks away. Carlo, known for his flirtatious ways and for breaking girls' hearts, seems like the perfect target for Lilith's latest scheme. With a sly grin, she approaches Carlo and offers him money to charm Greta, make her fall for him, and then brutally break her heart, setting the stage for what she hopes will be Greta's first taste of heartbreak. After a week, Lilith feels certain that her scheme with Carlo will be enough to push sweet Greta into seeking revenge on her future heartbreak. Spotting Samuel, the school's resident troublemaker, Lilith decides to get to know him better. Just then, Eddie and his gang arrive, accusing Samuel of stealing a watch and preparing to jump him. Samuel, quick on his feet, scrambles up to the rooftop, taunting them from above. Frustrated, Eddie foolishly orders his gang to go after Lilith instead, but she simply pulls a road sign out of the ground and effortlessly fends them off, sending the thugs running in terror. Impressed by Lilith's strength and defiance, Samuel can't help but admire the new girl's fearless spirit. Samuel, intrigued by Lilith's boldness, invites her to lunch, where he casually confesses that he steals from local hooligans just for fun and dreams of one day earning an honest living to buy a ticket to Berlin. As they chat, Samuel learns that Lilith has never seen the sea, and in an unexpected act of kindness, he takes her to the top of the church tower, offering her a breathtaking view of the beach. Caught up in the beauty of the moment, Samuel impulsively kisses Lilith. Shocked, Lilith pushes him away, her demonic nature triggering a fit of hysterical sneezing. The chaos inside the church worsens, and in a panic, Lilith flees, her heart racing as she escapes the overwhelming surge of emotions. Back home, Lilith runs into Greta, who can't stop talking about Carlo. The redhead vents to her neighbor about the strange, confusing feelings stirring inside her, feelings she believes started after meeting Samuel. Greta, ever the perceptive one, teases that Lilith has fallen in love with the guy, but Lilith vehemently denies it. As she looks into her magic ball for answers, her heart drops when she notices the ball glowing with pink hues, a sign of affection. Just then, her father calls, asking about her progress, and in the background, the devil overhears a report from one of his employees. Someone has fallen in love. Enraged, the devil's fury fills the air, knowing this complication could ruin everything. Furious at the news, the devil orders that his employee be immediately dismissed, revealing an unsettling truth: demons can fall in love, and it makes them professionally unfit for their dark duties. Horrified by the implications, Lilith ends the call, resolutely deciding to distance herself from Samuel in the future. Later that evening, in an attempt to stir up trouble, Lilith tells Greta's parents that their daughter has a date, expecting a dramatic reaction. To her surprise, the adults respond calmly, even offering to buy contraceptives for Greta, Embarrassed beyond belief, Greta rushes outside, and Lilith follows her, offering to help improve her image in a mischievous attempt to turn the awkward moment into something more dramatic. Lilith takes matters into her own hands, doing Greta's makeup and styling her hair, then outfitting her in a revealing red dress. Although Greta hesitates, worried about her provocative look, Lilith convinces her that it's the only way to truly catch Carlo's attention. Later, Samuel visits their home and asks Lilith to meet him on the roof. At first, the devilish girl resists, but eventually, she agrees. Samuel apologizes for kissing her, but Lilith, overwhelmed by strange feelings she can't understand, cuts him off, unable to listen. Feeling the emotions building up again, she quickly leaves him alone on the roof. That night, as she prepares for bed, Lilith stares at her magic ball, uneasy about the feelings swirling inside her. The next morning, as a new day begins, the farmer family goes about their usual routines, the father tending to the cabbage in the garden, and the mother having breakfast with the younger children. Greta, eager to sneak out in her new, revealing outfit, is caught by Sabila, who immediately notices and becomes upset. Recognizing the influence of Lilith behind this bold look, Sabila threatens to kick the girls out of the house if they don't change. Furious, she orders both Greta and Lilith to put on modest knitted dresses to shield Greta from the ridicule of her snobby classmates. Lilith, though displeased, reluctantly agrees, passing off the knitted dresses as a necessary evil to protect her plan. Lilith, ever the manipulator, spins a tale about Greta's mother being a famous fashion designer, even going so far as to edit photos from fashion magazines to back up her claim. She manages to convince Melody and Daria, who start treating Greta like an equal, asking her to get them exclusive dresses from Sabila Bernstein. Meanwhile, Samuel and Lilith set off on their bicycles toward the beach, where, for the first time, Lilith sees the sea. Unable to contain her excitement, she dips her toes into the water, laughing and jumping around in pure joy. Seeing her delight, Samuel challenges her to a playful game of tag and the two run along the shore, carefree in the moment. Samuel and Lilith continue to joyfully run around on the sand, laughing and carefree, while back at school, Greta arrives at the music group rehearsal, where Carlo is the DJ, shy but eager. Greta suggests a few ideas to improve Melody and Daria's number, and Carlo, impressed, encouraged her to perform with the girls. To everyone's surprise, she perfectly complements their vocals, adding a fresh energy to their sound. However, their performance is abruptly interrupted when their homeroom teacher enters with bad news. The principal has banned them from performing at the festival, claiming their group's name, Shit Deluxe, carries a vulgar connotation. Instead of the planned performance, they are forced to change direction, leaving the girls disappointed and confused. As the school music group scrambles to adjust to their new plan, the director's son steps in, offering to play a more traditional piece to entertain the guests. Meanwhile, Lilith and Samuel blissfully lounge on the beach, soaking in the warmth of the sun and each other's company. Their peaceful moment is shattered by a message from her father, the devil, demanding answers about his daughter's misdeeds. With a sigh, Lilith confesses to Samuel that her father might lock her up again for disobeying him. Samuel, ever the brave soul, promises to rescue the princess from her father's castle, and his words stir something in Lilith's heart, melting the icy walls she's built around it. The couple shares a kiss, this time by mutual agreement, their bond growing stronger. Later, as Lilith rereads her father's angry messages, she realizes that she is now truly torn between her demonic heritage and the new feelings she's developing for Samuel. Overwhelmed by the growing affection she feels for Samuel, Lilith becomes unsure of her place in this new world and decides to run away from him, hoping distance will ease her confusion. In a twist of fate, she accidentally bumps into Gabriel, who kindly takes her home. Meanwhile, Carlo, impressed by Greta's voice, offers her a permanent spot in the music group and decides to kiss her goodbye. But their moment is interrupted when Gabriel drives by in his truck, returning from the radish harvest. As they share an intimate conversation, Gabriel and Lilith bond over their neighboring lives. Lilith opens up about her strict father, confessing that her only chance of staying in town is if she fully embraces the dark side and commits to some of the unspeakable tasks he has set for her. Despite Lilith's wrongdoing, Greta stands by her, offering unwavering support. But Lilith, realizing she no longer wants to hurt this kind and innocent girl, decides to make a change. The next day, she pulls Carlo away from Greta and announces that she's breaking their deal. Carlo, surprisingly, confesses that he really likes Greta, returning Lilith's money in the process. He then tells Greta the whole truth, leaving her heartbroken and disappointed by Lilith's cruel actions. Unable to forgive her, Greta tells Lilith to leave, and although the betrayal stings, it doesn't make Greta angry, it only saddens her. Later, Samuel invites Lilith to the beach, where, in a bold gesture, he throws a bottle into the ocean, a symbol of the chaos and confusion they both feel. Torn between her emotions, Lilith feels conflicted when Samuel, lovesick and hopeful, declares his intention to stay in the provincial town with her, even offering to buy a ticket to Berlin. But the confession leaves Lilith unhappy and frustrated. She harshly declares that meeting Samuel was the worst thing that ever happened to her. Overcome with distress, she runs away, tears streaming down her face, and seeks comfort from Greta. Confessing that she left Samuel because he had a positive influence on her, Lilith shows Greta the magical ball of mischief, which is now completely pink, a clear sign of her infatuation. Realizing this means she's failed her father's test, Lilith knows that tomorrow she will face the consequences. As the day of reckoning approaches, Lilith realizes her father will take her back to the headquarters, his expectations of her wicked deeds looming large. But Greta, ever the supportive friend, softens her heart, promising to help Lilith escape her fate. The two embrace, knowing they're in this together. The day of the festival finally arrives, and with her devilish father watching, expecting his daughter to wreak havoc, Greta and a group of friends prepare a clever sabotage, sprinkling itching powder into the competitors' costumes. As the director begins his speech about his trip to Africa, embarrassing, edited photos accompany his words, causing the audience to erupt in laughter. Just as the chaos reaches its peak, the man halts the presentation and announces a musical number, setting the stage for even more mischief to unfold. The performance spirals into chaos as the musicians, tormented by the itching powder, begin playing wildly and out of sync, much to the amusement of the devil, who claps and revels in the suffering of mortals. He believes this is the work of Lilith's mischief, but she shakes her head in confusion, unaware of how things have unraveled. As the musicians leave the stage in misery, they're replaced by the daring trio, Shit Deluxe, who, dressed in colorful knitwear, create a sensation with their unexpected and vibrant performance. Meanwhile, the director fumes with frustration, furious at the unfolding sabotage. He orders the homeroom teacher to put an end to it, threatening that if she fails to stop the disruption, she will be fired. As the tension escalates, the teacher boldly responds that he has already requested an investigation into the director's corrupt dealings, sparking a heated argument between the two men. The confrontation ends in the director's disgraceful downfall, leaving the devil to lead his daughter out of the hall, with only her father following her in silence. She braces herself for the inevitable revelation, dreading what's to come, but to her surprise, her father congratulates her on her success, claiming she has finally managed to push Greta into a wicked act. With a twisted smile, he hands her a certificate of employment in hell, confirming her place in the underworld. However, to be sure of her loyalty, he asks her to show him the magic ball. Lilith, once again filled with dread, expects the worst, but the evil that has been consuming her takes another unexpected turn. To Lilith's shock, the magic ball remains completely black in her hands, and her father, pleased with the result, allows her to stay in the provincial town. Overjoyed, Greta rushes up to Lilith, revealing that she had masterminded all the tricks herself, even painting the magic ball with black nail polish so it wouldn't betray Lilith's true feelings. Though Greta never liked being a bad girl, she had done it to protect her friend. The two girls embrace, a bond forged through their shared mischief and sacrifice, before Lilith dashes off in search of Samuel. In the end, both heroines find their own paths, changed but united in their journey forward. In a heartwarming conclusion, Greta is rewarded with the approval of her parents and a long-awaited kiss from Carlo, marking the start of a new chapter in her life. Meanwhile, Lilith, having faced her inner turmoil, finds Samuel at the station and, with a mix of nervousness and excitement, confesses her feelings to him. To her relief, he reciprocates, and in a bold, symbolic gesture, Lilith burns his ticket to Berlin with a flick of her finger, choosing to stay in the provincial town where love and redemption have found their place in her heart.